I'm in.
What was that noise I made? What was that?
I hit it.
I'm in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Jarred.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, I've got such a great night planned for us, you guys.
Dude, I'm excited for the boys to hear it.
Hopefully it's new information. I just don't know how far word travels with this kind of stuff.
I can guarantee, regardless of what it is, it's going to be new information for me.
Well, we knew that.
I'll go ahead and say, on the surface, it may not seem like an unsolved mystery.
Alright.
But it is unsolved in that the way that the victim died was never determined.
Ooh.
So that's unsolved. No one really still knows what happened to the person.
I like that
And
aspect.
if I'm not mistaken, there still has not been, like, an official charge for who committed the act, correct?
Ooh.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Oh, I'm liking the sound of that.
We're sorry, you guys, for the lack of intro small talk. We just came off of recording the bonus episode, so we kind of got all out of our system.
We have that already. So if you want to know our intro small talk for this week's episode, join our Patreon, and you will find that in... It would actually be tomorrow's, when you hear this, it'll be tomorrow that it comes out. So yeah, go join that, and you'll hear all of our other BS.
Yeah.
So you got plenty of time to become a patron.
If you guys know and love Michael Davis or Mike Davis, if you listen to Gabbing with Grandma, if you listen to my other podcast, the Rivervale podcast, we do have Mike on as a guest for our bonus episode, and he crushed it. So
Yes.
if you guys
Absolutely
want that,
crushed
It was a
then
lot of fun.
It was something else, honestly.
yes, become a patron. What else did I need to add? I think we're good to go. I think, unless I'm forgetting something. Am I forgetting anything?
Not that I'm aware
I
of.
don't think so. Normally we just roll on our how we've been, which we've done, and then we kind of just go straight into it.
Well, we got a lot to unpack tonight. I am splitting this into 2 parts, but even so, it's all a lot to unpack. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in. I'll go ahead and start with my sources. I pulled from biography.com, people.com, Wikipedia, abcnews.com, and I think maybe timemagazine.com? I didn't note it, but I feel like I remember a big chunk of my information came from there, but I could be wrong. So, go ahead and get started then. Boys, I'm excluding Amber because she already knows what's up. If I were to drop the title, The Most Hated Woman in America, who would come to mind, if anyone?
No one off the top of my head, but it'd be one of those ones where as soon as you say the name, that I'll
Yeah.
probably know.
Okay, so it's no one that you know by name.
Not off the top of my head, no.
Dougie, you know?
Same. No.
Okay, so I'm going to try to be respectful in my titling of this portion. I'm going to be talking about the Caylee Anthony case, whose mother, Casey Anthony, was at the forefront of everything.
Name's not familiar
Nope.
at all.
Oh boy, okay, yes, that's exactly what I was hoping for. Casey Anthony, she became pregnant with Caylee when she was about 18 years old. According to her friend Brittany Schreiber, Casey didn't know she was pregnant until she was 7 months along. And she had been dating a string of men leading up to the pregnancy, and allegedly Casey told Brittany that she even wasn't sure who the father was, and that it was just a random one-night thing. It was speculated that Casey's on-off boyfriend, Jesse Grund, could have been Caylee's father, but a DNA test later proved that he was not. Sorry about Sadie choking in the background. Casey's parents, now remember these names because these are going to be important names. Casey's parents, George and Cindy Anthony, they did not know that Casey was pregnant until her 3rd trimester. Okay. According to Cindy's brother, he confronted Cindy about Casey's possible pregnancy, and Cindy denied it, saying Casey had told her she was not pregnant. And according to those close to Casey, she will never reveal the identity of Caylee's father and will take that secret to her grave. Another possible father for Caylee was Michael Duggan, who died in a car crash in 2007. Casey also previously dated Jesus Ortiz and Eric Baker, both who also died in car wrecks.
Wow.
So we're going to move forward a little bit. Caylee Marie Anthony was born on August 9th, 2005. After, as you guys heard, Casey repeatedly denied her pregnancy to everyone, including her family, which she was living with her parents at the time, so it's kind of like,
Yeah.
how long do you think you're going to get away with this?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Anyway, fast forward 2008, Casey and Caylee are living with George and Cindy in their Orlando, Florida home. On June 9th, Casey and Caylee move out of George and Cindy's house and move in with her ex-boyfriend Ricardo Morales and friend Amy Huizinga. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. Amy Huizinga. On June 15th, Caylee is recorded while visiting Cindy's father at an assisted living facility. Cindy and Caylee go swimming together in the pool at George and Cindy's house later that day, after which they claim they removed the ladder from the pool and closed the gate. So they had an above ground pool, so they had a ladder going up to it.
Right.
And then it was surrounded by a gate or a fence to close the gate. On June 16th, that was the last known sighting of Caylee. Casey had gotten into an argument with her family the day before and left with Caylee the next day, and she continuously dodged their efforts to reconcile. On that same day, Casey dressed for work at Universal Studios and left just before 1 p.m., but her cell phone records showed that she did not leave the immediate area until nearly 4 p.m. Furthermore, there was computer activity on the home computer associated with Casey's accounts, and her cell phone pings did not leave the area until after 4. George, Casey's dad, he claims he left the house to go to work at 2:30 p.m., but at 2:51 p.m., a Google search was made for the term foolproof suffocation. At 3:04 p.m., Casey took a phone call from George, and it lasted for 26 seconds. Between 4:10 and 4:14 p.m., Casey made 6 unanswered calls to her mother, Cindy. Within this 3-hour period, she also made calls to her friend Amy, her ex-boyfriend Jesse Grund, and her present boyfriend, or current at the time boyfriend, Tony. Just before 8 p.m., Casey is seen on security footage entering a Blockbuster with Tony, and Caylee was not with them. Casey claims that this is the last day she also saw Caylee. She said she dropped Caylee off with the babysitter before going to work, and when she came to pick her up, they were both gone. There were several instances during the month of June when Casey told her parents that Caylee was busy doing various things. She was at Disney World, she was at SeaWorld, she was at Universal Studios. Whatever she could tell them to basically, not have to put Caylee on the phone or bring Caylee to see them. That was a big paragraph. June 17th, the next day, George and Cindy noticed that the gate to the pool is open and the ladder is next to it. So, when they had been swimming a couple days previous, it wasn't as they thought. June 20th, Casey is photographed several times at a nightclub, Fusion, dancing with other women and participating in a hot body contest. June 23rd, Tony, the boyfriend, stated he helped Casey break into her parents' shed to get gas cans for Casey's car, which had run out of gas. Casey, she did not own this car. It was like a family car that was given to her by George and Cindy to use for, whatever she needed. He watched her open the trunk, but he couldn't see inside. He didn't detect anything strange with the car at that time. June 24th, George called the police to report the break-in and the missing gas cans. Later that day, he confronted Casey about taking the gas cans. He states that he went to retrieve them from the car, but she ran past him, quickly opened the trunk, and got them out herself. Basically threw them back at him. June 30th, the car that Casey had been driving was found abandoned in front of a cash advance business in Orlando. Her purse and Caylee's car seat were in the back seat, and the car was towed, and the tow company contacted George and Cindy about it because it was registered to them. Casey reportedly told Cindy that she had gone on a mini vacation to Jacksonville, Florida, but Cindy would later discover that Casey had actually been staying with her boyfriend. She hadn't actually gone anywhere. July 2nd, Casey goes and gets a tattoo on her back that says Bella Vita, which means beautiful life in Italian. July 15th. Now this is where we're starting to ramp up a little bit here. July 15th, Cindy Anthony calls 911 3 separate times. She tells the operator she has someone in her home who needs to be arrested and a possible missing child. She reveals that the 3-year-old has been missing for a month. She tells them that her daughter needs to be arrested for stealing a car and money. She also tells them that Casey stole her car on June 30th and Cindy had retrieved it from the impound earlier that day. In the background of the call, Casey can be heard saying she knows who has her daughter. Cindy then says that Casey told her Caylee had been kidnapped by her babysitter 31 days prior. Casey also tells Cindy she's been trying to find Caylee by herself. So Casey told Cindy she'd been trying to find Caylee by herself, and then Cindy tells the operator that she found Casey's car and says, quote, "It smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car."
Yikes.
End quote.
Yikes.
Cindy later recanted this statement, that she'd smelled a dead body in the car.
Recanted, that was retracted, right?
Yeah.
Right.
On this day, it was originally George that detected the decomposition odor, the dad. He inspected the car and he found a plastic bag containing garbage in the trunk. So Cindy goes and meets up with Amy, the friend, who takes her to the apartment where Casey had been living, and Cindy's basically like, "You're coming home with me. Get your stuff, we're going." So it was then that Casey told her parents that she hadn't seen Caylee in a month, and then Cindy called the police. So then Cindy tells the operator she hasn't seen Caylee since June 7th. The operator then asks Cindy if they can speak with Casey. And then Casey gets on the line and tells the operator her daughter has been missing for a month, but she knows who has her. She claims that the person called her that day from a then disconnected number and let her speak with Caylee for about a minute. She says that Caylee talked to her about shoes and a book she had been reading. And then Casey tells the operator that the kidnapper is Caylee's babysitter, Zenaida Gonzalez, who they, in the media, and also I believe Casey as well, affectionately referred to her as Zanny the Nanny. When the operator asked why Casey waited a month to report Caylee missing, Casey says that she's been looking for her on her own and trying to use other resources to find her. In the summer during the investigation, Casey told the police that she had a job as an event planner at Universal Studios. She even led them to a building on the lot and into a hallway before she turned around and admitted to them that she didn't actually work there and hadn't since she left for maternity leave 3 years prior. So she takes them into this building, this office building at Universal Studios, leads them down these hallways, whatever, then gets to a dead end, turns around and goes, "Oops, I lied." Yeah.
What?
This is just so
So-
bizarre.
When the Amber, it's so bizarre. Amber's doing her little Grimmel laugh.
I'm fucking short-circuiting is what I'm doing.
When police asked Casey where Zenaida lived, she pointed them in the direction of an apartment complex, but when police arrived, to Zenaida's alleged apartment, it was vacant and had been for several months. And if I remember correctly, the apartment manager had no recollection of anyone by that name living in that complex at any time. July 16th, Casey is arrested after weaving a monumental web of lies for the police. She was arrested and charged with child neglect, lying to investigators, and interfering with a criminal investigation. A couple days later, on July 18th, she hires Jose Baez as her attorney, who then sends a letter to the sheriff's office about Casey's willingness to cooperate with law enforcement, which I know you boys are probably not familiar. Amber, you might be, you probably are. Jose Baez is fucking Satan himself in terms of an attorney. If I remember correctly, I believe this guy, he represented Harvey Weinstein at one point. He's a very high-profile attorney, and because of his work on this case, and at least with Weinstein as well, that's why I just think he's the devil incarnate. Just a terrible human being.
I won't disagree.
So July 22nd, 2008, at her bond hearing, detectives introduced evidence that a cadaver dog had alerted to the odor of human decomposition in the trunk of the family car and in the Anthony's backyard as well. They also say that they found hair in the trunk of the car, which looked like it could be Caylee's. Based on that disturbing information and Casey's alarmingly indifferent attitude, the judge set her bail at $500,000. And it's also announced that Casey is officially a person of interest, and the case shifts to a homicide investigation. July 24th, Cindy, the mom, tells reporters that Caylee was sighted in Georgia, but the police could not verify that claim. August 5th, the state attorney's office files formal charges against Casey for one felony count of child neglect. So basically, at this time, they know she did something. They can't stick her with murder because there's not been a body. There's not anything really to suggest that Caylee is even dead, besides the fact that she's missing and mom is lying. So I feel like they're just trying to tack charges to keep her locked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
August 8th, the news outlets, they begin reporting that investigators suspect that Caylee may have drowned in the family pool on June 16th. So this, August 11th through 13th, there was a utility worker in the neighborhood, Roy Kronk, and he called the police 3 days in a row to report a suspicious item that he saw off the side of the road just outside of their neighborhood. And an officer finally showed up, and Kronk told him that he possibly saw a skull and bones in a bag. However, the officer was incredulous and only conducted a brief, cursory search of the area. Did not turn up anything. August 21st, California bounty hunter Leonard Padilla states he was contacted by Casey, and he paid her $500,000 bond to get her released from jail in the hopes that she would lead investigators to Caylee. August 29th, Casey is arrested again on charges of writing 4 checks on her friend Amy's account without her permission. Prosecutors offer Casey a limited immunity deal related to the false statements given to law enforcement about locating her child, but she refuses the deal. And then the offer is renewed again on August 25th. Or I'm sorry, I must have got these dates mixed up. Anyway, the offer was renewed a couple days later, and she refused again. September 1st, the police issue a statement saying that based on evidence that wasn't yet public and FBI testing, they believe there was a strong possibility that Caylee was deceased. September 5th, George and Cindy post the $500,000 bond, and Casey is released again after being fitted with an electronic tracking device. September 6th, it's just day after day after day at this point with this bitch. Police seize a handgun from the trunk of George's car because it violated the terms of Casey's bail. He tells them he planned to use it to force Casey's friends to tell him what happened to Caylee.
Oh, shit.
September 10th, the entire Anthony family refuses to submit to a polygraph test offered by both local authorities and the FBI.
Yeah.
Around September 15th, 16th, Casey turns herself in on new check fraud charges, fraudulent use of identification, and petty theft. And she's released the following day on a $1,200 bond. September 25th, Zenaida Gonzalez files a defamation lawsuit against Casey. So surprise, you guys, Zanny the nanny is real. However, she's had all this shit pinned on her because of Casey, so she comes out of the woodwork and she's like, listen, bitch, I'm suing your ass. This is bullshit. September 29th, Casey is arrested again and returned to jail on multiple charges, including child neglect, lying to investigators, petty theft, and use of a forged check, but was not charged in conjunction with Caylee's disappearance. It's just a whole lot of sighing with this bitch. October 2nd, Casey is officially named as a suspect in Caylee's disappearance. No longer a person of interest, she is a suspect. October 14th, Casey is indicted by a grand jury on charges of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, aggravated manslaughter of a child, and 4 counts of providing false information to police. She's arrested that same day and held without bond. Because it is a capital crime, she now faces the death penalty. October 21st, a week later, the child neglect charges against Casey are dropped based on the assumption that Caylee is dead. October 24th, the forensic reports from the examination of Casey's car are released. Police note that the hair strand found is microscopically similar to those found on Caylee's brush and showed characteristics of apparent decomposition. An air sample that was collected is found to contain chemical compounds consistent with human decomposition, and traces of chloroform are also detected in the car. November 8th and 9th, Texas EquiSearch, which is this big foundation that if there's a missing person or suspected deceased missing person, it's this big organization. They come out and they help you find your shit.
Yeah.
They find your person. So Texas EquiSearch, they came to Orlando with hundreds of volunteers to search for Caylee, but they found nothing, so they suspended their search. November 15th, the Anthonys, they had hired a private investigator, Dominic Casey, and he searched the area where Roy Kronk claimed to have seen this strange item months before. The search was recorded on video. The family's attorney denies asking Dominic Casey to search that area. When the defense asked him who sent him there, he said he was following up on a tip he received from a psychic. According to the prosecution, the area was under several inches of water at the time, which also apparently impeded Texas EquiSearch's search radius. December 5th, videos recorded of Casey's jail visits are released. In one video, Casey tells her parents that she believes Caylee will come home, and when she does, she isn't letting her out of her sight. In another, she tells her parents that she believes Caylee is still alive, and when Cindy asks if she feels like Caylee has been taken far away or like out of the state, Casey says she believes Caylee is still close to home. And it's on that same day that the state initially says it will not seek the death penalty against Casey. And, oh golly. This is where it gets split up. I hate to leave it on a cliffhanger, especially with us being so early into the episode. December 11th, 2008, Roy Kronk, again, calls in a 4th tip to the police. They investigate the area again, and this time, they find skeletal remains of a child found less than a mile from the Anthony home. The police obtain warrants and search the Anthony residence. And that's my part 1.
What? No. You can't, you can't just stop it there. Holy
What?
shit. Oh, my God.
What
That is
the fuck?
really bizarre. Oh, my God.
The whole thing, like, America was obsessed with this case
I can
from
see
start
why.
to finish.
I can see why.
can understand.
And
Damn
it
it,
wasn't,
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't just the content of the case itself. If you look up pictures of Caylee Anthony, she looks like your stereotypical hot girl. I mean, if she wasn't a kitty murderer, she'd be a beautiful girl for sure.
Oh,
But that's
allegedly.
what kind of, that's what, captured the country's attention with this case, is because it's like, she's so pretty. How did she do that? Like, how could she be a murderer? She's just a hot girl. So, and you know what? Y'all think you're mad now with the way this one's ending?
Oh,
We got a long
We know
way
how
to go,
the-
boys.
we know how the real story ends.
When you started this by saying how it was partly obviously unsolved because, never really know how she done it, whatever. The evidence put forward there, I can see why it's not strong, why it wasn't strong enough to fully acquit her and charge her because there was nothing substantial. But it's there. It was there in black and white, in pieces, but just not even. Oh, fucking hell. That's,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in any other case, I would want to bring more attention to the victim and what they were like as a person and what their past was like. But Caylee didn't even have a chance to be a person. She was not even 3 years old when she disappeared and was subsequently murdered. So what else is there to talk about with this case in terms of history except for what Casey was like? Which, from what I'm understanding from the things I've read, she's been a pathological liar her entire fucking life.
the main point with that is the fact that she waited a whole month before she finally contacted the authorities.
I would like to remind you, I know
She
that
didn't
this
even.
was a lot of dates, this was a lot of information in a
Yeah.
very small period of time. During that 31 days where she had not reported her child missing, she was at a nightclub, participating in hot body contests and grinding on other women. She went and got a tattoo
Yeah.
that said "Beautiful Life"
And then
in Italian.
And then she finally told the authorities that she was chasing up her own leads.
Yes. These were all things that she was doing in the month that Caylee had been gone. I mean,
Not the normal things a loving mother would be doing
No.
if their child was missing.
No, you're absolutely
which
right.
they always say with, these murder disappearance cases, you can't gauge grief. However, if you're grieving, you're not going to go out and get a fucking tattoo that says "A Beautiful Life." You're not going to go out clubbing and rubbing all up on other hot, sweaty girls and participating in body contests. I mean, this girl was a fucking moron too, because that was kind of where, I don't know, there was this weird period of time, like late 2000s, early 2010s, where it was just nightclubs for whatever, there were always professional photographers there, and this was the height of that. So there were professional photographers at this nightclub where she was hanging out, taking pictures of her doing these things while her child was missing, and she knew it.
Yeah.
That's just unsolved in itself.
If anything, God forbid, were to happen to my child, and I had no idea where he was missing, probably the last thing on my mind would be, you know what? I need to book a tattoo appointment right now.
Yeah.
Well, I could
That's
understand
just
if
me being honest.
I could understand doing things to take.
Yes, to
I
take
can
your mind
understand
off
doing
of
things
it.
to take your mind off of it, but at the same time, you're not reporting it.
Yeah.
And if you want to
Yeah.
go get a tattoo, I feel like maybe you get your kid's name. Like, if you were that grief-stricken about the
Yeah.
situation, like something in honor of your kid, not a beautiful life. Like, what the... How beautiful is your life when your daughter, your tiny daughter, is missing?
Missing.
Yeah. That's just...
Oh.
So now with all this information, all this information, now that you have it, do you understand maybe why Jess started the episode with "When you think of the most hated woman in America"?
Oh, I get it. I
Yep.
get it. The only...
I think I read also somewhere that a major kind of key to Caylee and like Casey's pregnancy or whatever was that I can't remember who said it or who the source was, but Casey didn't even want to keep Caylee when she was born. Like, she wanted to give her up for adoption,
Well,
and George and Cindy made her keep Caylee. So it's like, why would you do that? If that's what happened, and she wanted to give the kid up for adoption, let her give the kid up for adoption.
Yeah,
I mean, oh my
yeah.
God, who knows what she's
'Cause
gonna
at that
do?
point-
Well, now we know what she did to the kid, but it's like, if someone
Yeah.
wants to give
Allegedly.
a kid up for adoption, I feel like they know, they have a pretty good idea of how it's going to turn out if they don't. Let them do it.
I've got a theory or a suspicion, but I want to ask a question to make sure my logic isn't going to be flawed here. So we know, allegedly, she killed her daughter. Do we know a rough sort of time span as to when the murder occurred? Or is it just anywhere within that time period?
Jess might touch on that in her next episode.
Right, okay. So that's fine. So, my theory is, just thought up here, that month period when she was following her own leads, living the lavish life of partying, tattooing, and whatever. My theory is, and I'm probably jumping the gun to your part 2 episode, Jess, and I do apologise if I am, but she kills her daughter, and she's so allegedly, she allegedly kills her daughter, and then she's so grief-stricken in that meantime, hence the tattoo out of regret, and trying to not forgive herself, but try and, I don't know, make herself seem more innocent to others by having beautiful life on her, and then going out doing all this other stuff to not only get her mind off of it, but also make other people try and appreciate her more before the news comes out about it. I don't know. Do you see where I'm going with it?
Yeah, but I just think it all makes it worse.
It does make massively. It makes it all massively worse. There's no way this could be any better.
It's not painting it any better for her.
No, but that's my only theory. That
Here's
she
the
be doing all those
thing,
other
like-
bits in the meantime.
And here, go ahead, Jess. I'm sorry.
The thing with Casey is that when all this happened, she was still young. She was 19, 20, 21, somewhere in that ballpark. I don't remember exactly. We all do supremely stupid shit at that age. We don't know how to best conduct ourselves during times of duress. Like, we don't know how to process grief or anger or really any frantic situation that comes up. I mean, God, I think back on some of the reactions I've had to things or, whatever back when I was that age, and I'm just like, wow, I was a fucking idiot. So it's no new news that people in that age bracket are fucking morons. Like, they're just, they're dumb. They're in that weird stage between kidhood and adulthood, and they're still learning how to be a grown-up. So it's, with Casey,
I'm still doing that.
God, don't crucify me for saying this, listeners, but I don't think she did anything to Caylee on purpose. I think that she stupidly did something that ended up being lethal to Caylee.
What?
And to slightly piggyback on what you said earlier about the fact that she was forced to have Caylee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I only want to say this now, especially because of the shit that's going on in Texas. This is important.
Yes.
As to why women need a choice. That way, tragedies do not happen.
Yes.
Especially, and I am assuming at this point, this is an allegation of mine that I'm making here right now, I almost guarantee you Casey probably suffered from some severe postpartum depression.
Yes. I mean, I'm
And-
not, like, yes, confirmed, but
Yeah.
yes, I would imagine so.
And it's not just, oh, you get the baby blues for a few months after the baby's born. No, postpartum depression does not have a timeline, okay? And agreeing with Jess on this, she probably did do something. Maybe she didn't mean to, maybe she did. I don't know. I don't know where the headspace was, allegedly. And it led to this horrible thing happening to this tiny, tiny person who probably did nothing but love Casey and put complete trust into Casey, and it cost her life. This is why you need to give women a choice. And that's my PSA on that.
Yep.
No, yeah, no.
With her, it comes back to what I mentioned before. Occam's razor. Like, the easiest is the most likely solution, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I think when I say that she didn't necessarily do something intentionally or with malice, I think it was something along the lines of, she's a young, stupid kid who didn't even want to have a baby in the first place. She wanted to go out with her boyfriend or her friends, whatever, go to a nightclub or something. Maybe gave Caylee something and it was too much to make her go to sleep. I mean, I don't know. But then that also, it brings us around to the state of Caylee's remains. In the next episode, there is a bit of a situation with the state of them that is also worth
Very
questioning.
worth.
It makes me kind of step back on what I think about happened, and I just don't know. It's so hard to say.
What gets me as well, and this always trips me up with cases like this, or that have this fact in, is the internet search. Foolproof suffocation.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets
yeah.
worse. Wait for episode 2.
Oh, I can imagine
Yeah.
it probably is. But what I'm saying is firstly, if you're gonna commit a crime, say allegedly she did this intentionally, not accidentally. Just my little PSA on anything. If you are gonna murder somebody, don't fucking Google how to do it, right? Exactly. But why? Like, that always trips me up, that does, with anything like this, because you hear it in quite a few cases. You know, oh, the research results. You know, like so many minutes or hours or whatever before, days before.
People
or whatever.
are
It's just
fucking idiots.
like yeah, they are. Like, why? Just
There are so many things in this case where I'm just like, I guess I just try to give people the benefit of the doubt too much. There are so many things that make me go, I don't think she did this on purpose. I think it was a fatal accident. But then there are things that come up with this case where it's like I just don't want to believe
yeah.
that by and large people are capable of intentionally doing that kind of thing to
Yeah.
someone, especially when it's their own kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I always think that there's some kind of, like, outer circumstance or something influencing the situation, because it's hard for me to wrap my head around people doing that to someone they supposedly love.
Yeah. Yeah.
With her, I just don't know. She's such a liar. It's so hard to know heads
What's
from
real and
tails
what's
with
not.
her. Like,
Yep.
I
And-
mean, I think about that Universal Studios story all the time. It's almost comedic. Erase everything surrounding what was happening that day, and you just bring it down to bare essentials. This girl lies about where she works to the police and then leads them on a wild goose chase throughout this office building just to turn around at the end of a hallway and be like, ha! Just kidding. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
almost comedic if there
Yeah.
was nothing of this other stuff going on. It's like, It's like you would see that on a show.
Yeah.
So what did she think she was going to achieve by taking them there?
Delaying time. Just delay.
But
Well,
then when you...
she was even stopped at the
But it's
security
just-
desk. She walked right up to the desk in the foyer, the office, whatever, with the police, and was like, "Hey, I need to let them in to do whatever." And they're like, "We don't have a record of you working here, or not a recent record of you working here." And she's like, "Oh, it's fine. It's fine. They know who I am." And she just continued on, went right past them.
See, when you take everything external, surrounding that out of it, it does sound quite comical. Then you add everything back into it, and it's psychotic.
And then,
I mean, maybe she didn't expect to get that far.
my thing, and again, because her pattern of lying just to delay the inevitable is just what's so much for me. Because even in the conversations that she was having with her own parents, and let's say that her story was true. So instead of just telling them, hey, I don't have Caylee with me, but I know someone, like, instead of telling that story to them, you say, oh, she's at Disney World. Oh, she's at SeaWorld. Oh, she's at Universal Studios today. Oh, she is doing everything but being missing.
Yeah.
To Casey.
Well, speaking of her conversations with her parents, let's talk about the Jailhouse interviews real quick. Because you boys probably won't, but I do suggest in your downtime you go check these videos out on YouTube. Because when she is in these videos, she's, there's the glass and then there's her parents on the outside. She's on the inside. They're talking or whatever. In these videos, it's not... oh my God, I can't believe my daughter's gone. Oh my God, we have to find her. Where is she? What's happening? Like, it's with her in these videos, it's like, oh my God, how could this happen to me? I cannot believe this.
Oh,
like,
wow.
it's all me. How do you think I feel? What's gonna happen to me? What did I do? Like, shit like that. It's not like
Almost
a grief-stricken mother.
Yeah, acknowledging and accepting.
Oh, I'm sure she's close to home.
Acknowledging
I bet
and
you
Yeah,
fucking do.
yeah, I
Acknowledging
bet
and
she's
accepting
about
the
a
fact.
mile from your home.
Yeah. Acknowledging and accepting the fact that she already knows what's happened to her daughter. I know, it's just like,
I mean,
it's almost as if to say, oh, I can't believe I've been busted.
She was such a brat in these videos with her parents. It's like, there's one point where her mom said something about, we need to find her, this has been hard on the family, or something along those lines. She's like, well, how do you think it makes me feel? I'm in jail. And it's like, of course you're in jail,
Yeah.
you psychotic bitch.
Yeah.
Where else do you think you would be right now? I mean,
At the local nightclub.
yeah, getting a tattoo. God, they're gonna be so upset with my next part, Amber.
I know.
Anyway.
Unfortunately, we have to wait a month.
Yeah, a whole month. Yikes. Although, that's bloody quick, though. Doesn't
Yeah,
it? It
yeah.
really does go quick.
Welcome to getting old.
I don't like it. I don't
Can't
like
relate. I'm immortal.
Oh,
And before I get hit by a car tomorrow checking the mail.
I shouldn't laugh at that, but... Oh, dear.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You would be nowhere without me in my face.
I really wouldn't.
Anyway, questions, comments, concerns, likes, dislikes.
I've been through everything right there.
Yeah,
Read as it
very
is.
intriguing one, Jess.
Very.
I'm just gonna be the alleged queen right now and just say all things mentioned in this podcast are alleged.
What I love about all of this, anytime Jess was saying something, Amber was just there
some
like,
of them.
alleged. It's like Amber's our lawyer, just...
Well, I've got some law credits underneath my belt.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just in the business of not wanting to get sued. That's all. Allegedly.
They can try and sue us, but we ain't got shit to our name. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for Burke
that's not
Ramsey to try to sue us.
That's not
You
an
can pull that $700 million out of my ass, Burke Ramsey.
Can I pull $7 million out of your ass?
Allegedly.
Can I try and pull $7
No,
million?
not for you.
Oh.
It's in dollars, not pounds. Sorry.
It doesn't matter. It's still more money than I have right now.
Which, speaking of, I go next
Yes.
week, and you guys will finally get part 2 of John Benet Ramsey.
Part 2, finally, because we were left on a cliffhanger on that one. I'm not liking these cliffhangers, by the way.
I love them. Because if you're listening to this now and you want to listen next week, go listen to part 1 of my John Benet Ramsey. I set the scene in that one, and next week I will be giving you boys all the evidence that there is, hopefully. Yeah.
Nice.
It's something.
Well,
we're getting better and better. I like it.
I think that'll about do it for mine. So unless we have any more
I have no
stuffs.
closing comments. I have nothing to mention. Everything we felt like we needed to say, we kind of already did an hour ago. So, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and close it out then. How do we close it out?
Follow
us on Instagram at Jarred Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Jarred Official.
Mm-hmm.
Join our Facebook group, Jarred Posting. Go to our website, jarredpodcast.com. And you can get
Buy some
merch there
merch.
too.
Do you Jarred Podcast on any platform? And your Flinders. That's just a quick way of rounding us out.
Oh, leave us a voicemail.
Oh yeah, speakpipe.com/jarred. We would love a voicemail. Please.
Why am I scared and horny? Right there.
I don't know, that's a
'Cause that's
personal
you.
problem, bud.
That's kind of your everyday, honey.
Yeah.
Um,
And on that
rate,
note,
review, subscribe.
Download.
Blah, blah, blah. Please download. Please. We're so
I
desperate.
hate it when she goes British. I hate it when she goes British.
I hate it. Hate it. Perfectly.
Perfectly
I saw it coming.
So did I. That's why I sat here in anticipation. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.